So, United States Department of Homeland Security is set to deport 79 Nigerians on criminal list. The Department of Homeland Security announced plans to deport at least 79 Nigerians convicted of criminal offenses under President Trump's intensified immigration crackdown. The department released their names and photographs of the list. They are listed among the worst of the worst criminal offenses or aliens arrested by the US government. So these are the pictures. I'm going to start it one by one. This is what the United States Homeland Security posted. Said the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is highlighting the worst of the worst criminal aliens arrested by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) under Secretary Neum's leadership. The hardworking men and women of the DHS and ICE are fulfilling President Trump's promise and carrying out mass deportations, starting with the worst of the worst, including the illegal aliens you see here. So the first one is what's his name? Joshua Ine. His offense is sex offense. Then the next one is Usman Momo. He's convicted of aggravated assault, gun compounding crime. He's arrested in Atlanta, Georgia. The next person is Oluwole Odunowo. Identity theft, mail fraud, arrested in Texas. This other person is Chibundo Ano. What's the name again? Chibundo. So this one is Chibundo Anuebunwa. Is arrested, convicted of fraud by wire, arrested in New York. This other person is Solomon Wilfred, arrested in Louisiana, mail fraud. The next person is Aderemi Akefe, cocaine, smuggle to avoid paying duty, driving under influence liquor, arrested in Michigan. This other person is Ifeanyi Nwozomodo in Texas. He was arrested in Texas. Robbery and dangerous drugs. That's what he was convicted of. This other person is Bamidele Bolatiwa. He was arrested in Florida. He was convicted of aggravated assault, family strong arm, aggravated assault, weapon. This other person is Emmanuel Mayegun Adiola. He was arrested in Maryland. He's convicted of sex assault. Then this other person is Ejike Ashebunam, arrested of conspiracy, convicted of conspiracy, arrested in Pennsylvania. And this other person is Oriyomi Aloba, was arrested in California, convicted of fraud by wire, maybe as a man. Bola Rinwa Salau, arrested in Pennsylvania, convicted of counterfeiting, identity theft, maybe a Yahoo boy. This other person is Oludayo Adebo. They didn't provide his picture. He was convicted of fraud by wire, identity theft, Butner, North Carolina. Maybe he's underage. That's why they couldn't put the picture. Or maybe a teenager or something. Convicted of carrying prohibited weapon. This is Joseph Obara, arrested in Maryland. And this other person is Benji Macaulay, convicted of fraud, false statement, false citizenship, fraud, illegal use credit cards, fraud, arrested in California. Convicted of fraud by wire, this is Isaiah Okere, arrested in Minnesota. This other person is Olamide Jolayemi, arrested in Oklahoma. Computer crimes, is convicted of computer crimes, driving under influence of liquor. And then we have Oladayo Abola, convicted of rape, strong arm, arrested in Ohio. This other person is Toluwani Adebaki, arrested in Mississippi. He was convicted of fraud by wire, money laundering. And then we have Abayomi Daramola, convicted of enticement of minor for indecent purposes via telecommunications, arrested in Oregon. This other person is Jelili Kudus. He was convicted of identity theft and fraud, arrested in Illinois. This other person is Olatunde Oladeni, arrested in Maryland, convicted of larceny. And then a woman, convicted of mail fraud, Fraud, false statement, conspiracy. Her name is Talatu Dada, arrested in Dallas, Texas rather. This is Olani Akintui, convicted of identity theft, fraud, arrested in Maryland. Then this other person is Omotayo Akinto, arrested in Maryland. He's convicted of fraud, illegal use credit cards, illegal re-entry, and fraud. So many fraud, so many frauds. This is Olajide Olateru Olabegi. He was convicted of larceny, driving under influence of liquor, arrested in Texas. And then this is Patrick Onogu, convicted of fraud, public other crimes, identity theft, conspiracy. He was arrested in New York. This is Olamide Adedipe, convicted of burglary, arrested in Texas. This is Christopher Ojuma, forgery and fraud. That's what he was convicted of. He was arrested in Texas. This is Ade Olu Salabu, convicted of fraud by wire. He was arrested in Maryland, Baltimore. This is Christian Ogunjide was convicted of sale of stolen property, arrested in Oakdale, Louisiana. This is Adeyinka Ademokunla, convicted of kidnapping. It's surprising, kidnapping in USA, arrested in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois. This is Oyewole Balogun, convicted of fraud, impersonating, arrested in Texas. This is Olubenga Abbas, convicted of assault, threat, terroristic state offenses, robbery, arrested in Texas. This is Kingsley Ariegwe, convicted of sex assault, sodomy, girl, strong arm, arrested in Montana. This is Olusegun Martins, arrested in Houston, Texas. He's convicted of larceny, identity theft, fraud by wire, fraud. Then we have Kenneth Onanka, convicted of fraud, forgery, traffic offense, arrested in Wisconsin. This is Jeremiah Ahis, convicted of assault, domestic violence, dangerous drugs, arrested in Dallas, Texas. Then we have Olufemi Orimolade, convicted of aggravated assault, weapon, domestic violence, arrested in Columbia, South Carolina. His name is Oluwafemi Orimolade. Then we have Ayibatoye Beziha, convicted of money laundering, arrested in New Jersey. Then we also have Uche Duno, arrested in Louisiana, fraud by wire, conspiracy, money laundering. They thought they are in Nigeria. This is Akinwale Adaramaja, arrested in New York, convicted of larceny. Then we have Boluwatife Afolabi, arrested in New York, convicted of possession of weapon and forgery. Convicted, this Chinonso Ochie, convicted of sex offense against child fondling, arrested in Texas. Then we have Olayinka A. Jones, convicted of voluntary manslaughter, arrested in South Carolina. This is Theophilus Anwana, convicted of rape, drug-induced, arrested in Maryland. Then we have Aisha Umaru, arrested in Texas, convicted of fraud. This is Henry Idiabonya, arrested in Massachusetts, aggravated assault. He's convicted of aggravated assault, family strong arm, larceny. And then we have Akim Adeleke, convicted of fraud by wire, arrested in Texas. This is Adewale Aladekoba, arrested in Maryland, convicted of heroin sale, heroin possession. Dasola Abdul Rahim, arrested in Alabama, money laundering, convicted of money laundering. This is Peter Ikwere, convicted of assault, mail fraud, arrested in Houston, Texas. We have even this old man, Suraj Tairu, convicted of heroin smuggle, arrested in Washington District of Columbia. We have this Rastaman, Kingsley Ibadore, arrested in Texas, money laundering remarks. That's what he was convicted of. Ifeanyi Echigeme, arrested in Texas, convicted of fraud. Cyril Odogwu, convicted of assault, aggravated assault, weapon, trespassing, arrested in North Carolina, Chesterfield, Virginia. Kamaluddin Kiwa, arrested in Mississippi, convicted of mail fraud, illegal re-entry to the US, I suppose. Sakiru Ambali, convicted of identity theft, fraud by wire, arrested in Minnesota. This is Daru Kosin, convicted of assault, money laundering remarks, arrested in California. Okechukwu Koronkwo, arrested in New York, convicted of property crimes. Boluwaji Akingusoye, arrested in Indiana, convicted of robbery, theft, and use vehicle other crime, resisting officer. After resisting, he get back. This is Dennis Ofuoma, convicted of sex assault, carnal abuse, burglary, arrested in New York. Then we have Elizabeth Adeshewo, convicted of aggravated assault, non-family strong arm, cruelty toward child, arrested in Texas. This is Abdul Akinsanya, arrested in Oklahoma, convicted of forgery and conspiracy. We have Adetunji Olofinlade, arrested in Maryland, driving under influence liquor. Then we have Chima Orji, arrested in Georgia, convicted of aggravated assault, non-family strong arm, threat, terroristic state offenses. We have Elizabeth Miller, arrested in California, convicted of fraud, illegal use credit cards, fraud, impersonating. We have Abimbola Esan, arrested in New York, convicted of intimidation, traffic offense. We also have Chukwuma Kori, arrested in Florida, convicted of burglary, vehicle theft. Then Olufemi Olufisaya Olutiola, arrested in Georgia, convicted of forgery, identity theft, and fraud. Then we have Abie Mense Obano, arrested in California, convicted of money laundering and then remarks. Bernard Ogi Oreteko, arrested in Georgia, convicted of identity theft, money laundering remarks, fraud by wire. We have Chibuzo Nwanu, arrested in Tennessee, convicted of money laundering and remarks. This is Oluchi Jennifer Chidinma Chime, arrested in Texas, convicted of theft of US government property. You could imagine that. Abraham Ola Osoko, arrested in Texas, convicted of sex offense against child, fondling. Olumide Bankole Morakinyo, arrested in New Jersey, convicted of money laundering. We have Oluwaseun Kasim, arrested in Illinois, convicted of sex assault. We have Ifeanyi Okoro, arrested in California, convicted of sex assault, kidnapping, and robbery. We have Kazim Adeyinka, arrested in Louisiana, convicted of fraud by wire. So these are 79 Nigerians that will be free shipping, shipped from US back to Nigeria. Of all places, you had the opportunity to get into US, and most of them maybe they're citizens or something. They welcomed you, gave you environment, gave you everything that Nigeria couldn't offer you. And all you could do to pay back is to use the same mentality, the same fraudulent mentality you have in Nigeria to use. I love how brutal Donald Trump is. If Donald Trump should rule America for at least the next 10 years, America will be safe again. Because if you look at what is happening, some of us have traveled some of these countries, you will see that when you go to New York, you go to places like Minnesota, it's like a den of robbers. A den of robbers. These guys are there to plunder the country, to ruin it. And Donald Trump is coming with iron fist to deal brutally with them. I'm in support of it. In fact, if there are more Nigerians that are convicted, they don't need to be in the worst of the worst list. Just get them back. Let them all be thrown back so they will come and face the heat in Nigeria. The next time they think about crime, the next time they think about fraud, they will know the consequences that will follow.